It's going. Yep, it's going.
Hi, everybody. This is my dad, and he's going to be my audience today.
Hi, everybody. I'm also going to be the cameraman for the day. So you won't really see me on camera, but I'm here.
Thank you. Okay, let's get started. So, people who complain about daily headaches might not realize that they are dehydrated. Being dehydrated by just 2% not only gives you headaches, it also affects your thinking process and impairs your daily performance. My name's Kara McFadyen, and my dad was a survival instructor in the Air Force. Amongst other things, he took groups of certain people into remote parts of the world and taught them how to survive off the land. As you might imagine, we've spent a little time in the woods. I'd like to discuss water purification and its importance with you today. We're also going to look at some of the science behind each method. I'm going to focus on portable methods that you can easily carry in your pocket or backpack. First and foremost, it's important to realize that barring a medical emergency, if you find yourself stranded and in some sort of survival situation, water is your most important need. Without it, you will die from dehydration within 3 to 5 days. But if you're stranded and you drink right out of a stream, river, lake, or any other ground source, you can contract microscopic parasites like Giardia. These parasites will infest your digestive tract and make you very ill. To prevent this, water must be purified before drinking it. Now, what's the difference between filtering and purifying? To make it simple, filtering removes the stuff you can see, while purifying removes the stuff you can't see. There are only a few ways to purify water, and they break down into 3 categories: natural, chemical, and mechanical. Let's start with natural ways to purify water. Anything that comes from the clouds, such as rain, sleet, or snow, has already been purified by natural distillation. However, it needs to be caught before touching the ground to keep it from being contaminated. You can also use a plant source like a transpiration bag or a vegetation bag. A transpiration bag is simply a plastic bag wrapped around the foliage or limb of a live tree. Once the bag's around the limb, tie it close and leave it for several hours. But make sure that the opening of the bag is towards the sky, or else the water will be on the ground. So let's look at a little of the science behind this. Transpiration basically means to breathe. So during the day, the plant is breathing and providing water and nutrients to the branches and leaves. In the process of absorbing CO2 and expelling O2, its pores are open and also expelling water. With a bag over the limb, the expelled water is trapped and is already purified. When you check it, you might be surprised how much water it yields. Now, a vegetation bag is used by picking green foliage such as weeds or grass that are safe, not like poison ivy, putting it in a clear plastic bag, tying it at the end, and leaving it in the sun for a few hours. The science behind this is basically just heat and the water cycle. The yield's usually not as good as a transpiration bag, but at this point, any water is better than none. There are other ways that plants naturally purify water that you can use, but we're just focusing on a few today. So that brings us to chemical purification. The most common way to chemically purify water is with sodium hypochlorite in the form of liquid chlorine bleach. It takes 2 drops per quart of clear water. If the water is cloudy, add 4 drops. Shake it periodically for 20 to 30 minutes before drinking, just to be safe. Now, bleach, and you know this if you read the label, kills 99.9% of common household germs. Well, it also kills Giardia. The second most common way is with iodine, usually in the form of tablets. It takes 1 to 2 tablets per quart of water, again based on the clarity of the water. Shake it periodically for about 30 minutes to be sure that it's safe to drink. And then the science behind this method is basically poisoning the Giardia. So that brings us to mechanical purification. The very best is a reverse osmosis pump, also known as a desalination pump. This one is small, hand operated, and can produce 6 gallons of purified reverse osmosis water in just 24 hours. It will even turn seawater into fresh water. They make bigger ones, but they're fairly expensive. For instance, this one costs about $1,200. As you might see, this pump is not the easiest to carry around. This brings us to the class of smaller, less expensive models that cost around $20 and usually have a shorter lifespan. They are often known as straws. While convenient, they have a very limited usage lifetime. They only purify about 300 gallons before they're no longer safe to use. Until now. In our travels, we have discovered the Sawyer Mini. The Sawyer Mini uses a filter media that filters to the 0.1 micron range, which removes 99.9999% of microbials. It comes with its own straw, can be screwed to its own pouch, or can even be connected to most standard water bottles. Now, how this works is as water passes through these little threads right here, the water gets absorbed by the threads, and all of the microbials and parasites stay on the outside, so that fresh water with no parasites come out on the other end. Easy and simple. So, the remarkable thing about this product is that not only does it come with its own accessories, it can also be reused over and over again. This ultralight, easy-to-use device can purify up to 100,000 gallons. So let's do a little math. If you drink a gallon of water per day, how much will you drink in a year? Easy, 365. How about 10 years? 3,650. Multiply that by 10. You will have owned this for 100 years and only used a little more than a third of its lifetime. You could literally pass this on in your will. In summary, hydration is critical for survival, and preparation and knowledge are key. Today, we have discussed water purification in 3 categories: natural, chemical, and mechanical, and looked at a few methods for each category. My dad always says, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So, now it's time to ask yourself, what changes will you make to be prepared?